Hi everyone, I'm Sean.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for February 9th, 2012. As you can plainly see, we're not in the studio. Quinn and Sam are on vacation this week. They selfishly decided to go to Stowe and go skiing, while Sean and I stayed here and did the show. So while they're out enjoying that, we're on my couch in my apartment doing the show because we can't run a studio with two of us.
No, it's very hard. I remember we tried that at one point.
And things explode and catch on fire, and it just goes generally badly.
The next time this happens, we'll go to my place.
Yeah, so, couch surfing series when Quinn and Sam go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because we don't get vacation because we're students.
No rest for us.
No.
Oh, God. But there's a couple things that are really neat that happened this week.
That's right.
Specifically in Off the Press. We got a guest star.
Yes, my girlfriend, who lives here, has come on to talk about a comic that's near and dear to her heart, just released this week, Adventure Time with Finn and Jake #1. Then we're going Tech Insight. It's always a busy week in tech.
Oh, it is. Oh, boy.
Spicy Canadian content this week. We're talking about a really, really attractive VoIP service that Dell shipped for only Canadians this week.
Yeah, which I'm kind of surprised on.
Yeah, which is very weird and awesome. We'll tell you about that. And how we're a little bit closer to getting Android on our touchpads.
Very, very close.
Yes.
I am watching this with bated breath.
Yeah, Sean and I both got fire sale touchpads, so we're very excited about that.
Yeah.
And then Quinn's decided to do Behind the Lens while on vacation.
Lame.
Because it was, in his defense, very busy week for cameras. We got a bunch of new stuff. Nikon's got a new camera. There's new mirrorless developments, confirming stuff and developing stuff we talked about in the last couple weeks.
And to be honest with you, I don't know if I could keep up with it. I barely know cameras.
I might have been able to list the model numbers for you, but short of that, so he's got a nice fireside behind the lens for us from Stowe, Vermont. Without further ado, it is time for Off the Press.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Off the Press for this week. We have a guest!
Hi.
This is Beccy.
Hi.
She's going to talk about stuff. Because Sam's in Stowe. She's been stowed somewhere. Anyway. So we're going to start off this, basically the segment talking about Sony doing their crazy usual stuff. Basically, this is going on with, of course, the PSP Vita, or PlayStation Vita. I don't know what they call it. The handheld gaming machine that's coming out.
PSP Vita.
Yeah, there you go. PSP Vita. So they're not really doing the discounted downloads, which we were kind of really excited for because that was going to be the biggest thing. I don't know if you knew about it, but with the PSP Vita, Sony was kind of like, hey, guess what? If you buy the UMD disc or whatever, you buy the physical media, you pay $60. Mm-hmm. If you buy the digital copy, you pay $50, $40. You pay less.
Makes sense.
Which is huge, and it does make sense because no one does that.
Yeah.
And now they're saying no, not for you, not for you, and over there.
No one actually cares about this thing anymore.
Actually, a lot of people are quite interested with it.
Really?
There's actually a big thing going on. I mean, we haven't seen too many numbers of people who have actually wanted to buy one or pre-ordered. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it is one of those things that goes around the internet quite often. So they're sitting there going, we want this, we don't want it, we want it, we don't want it. This is kind of cool. They only have a couple niche games for that touchpad on the back, but, it's kind of like the 3DS.
Yeah.
It's I don't need it, it could be cool, I'll play with it, and then I'll probably want it. And then I'll buy it, and then get, disappointed.
And then get bored and leave it on your couch for 2 months.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, Sony does not account for. They expect it to be, huge, because people forget that Nintendo designed the Game Boy, designed all of that, so it would be put down.
Yeah.
Because it's like they'll play and then they'll put it down and go to something else.
Well, it's designed for 6-year-olds to be able to play without breaking it.
Yeah. Pretty
Which
much.
the PSP never was.
No, it was very fragile. I mean, it took a bit of a beating, but it was more fragile than a Game Boy. I remember tossing that thing down the stairs, and it was okay. That green Game Boy Color, that was awesome.
Quality. Mine had Pokemon on it.
Yep.
It still works.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, there was going to be about so they actually have a price match or a pricing for how much it would have been for the downloadable copy. It was going to be about $6.50 to $13 less in price, which is pretty big.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
I mean, I would have been I've been picking up games all the time. Actually, I mean, even Valve, if you're listening, do that. I mean, you do weekly deals, daily deals even. So I mean, you already have it kind of down, but.
Valve knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they
I have
really
faith
do,
in
actually.
Valve.
Never mind. Screw that. Valve, I'm sorry. I love you still. I always will. But moving on, you have something to bring to this.
It's true. There's only one reason I'm here today, and that's to talk about Adventure Time, which is the new comic for this week. I'm sure there are other comics. I don't care about them. I care about Adventure Time.
I was going to say, for the unwashed and uneducated.
For those of you who don't know, Adventure Time is a wildly popular television show which was created by Pendleton Ward. It's about Finn the human and Jake the dog. They're basically a 12-year-old boy and a dog who can become anything he wants. They go on adventures in the land of Ooh. It's awesome. It's extremely well written, very funny. It's all ages, but its main audience is definitely between the ages of 16 and 35, I'm going to say. So they decided to breach it out into the comics world. It was written by one Mr. Ryan North, who does Quant's dinosaur comics, if you're familiar with the internet in any sort of way. And it's brilliant. It's perfect. There's 5 covers released, but
God.
it's definitely if you like the show, you're gonna love the comic. Ryan really captured their voices and stuff. There's a lot of interviews. He goes on record saying that as he was writing out the dialogue, that he would say it out loud to make sure that it sounded appropriate to the characters.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they bring in, if you're familiar with the Lich King, they bring him in the first issue and go on an adventure with him. It seems like it's going to be a pretty massive fight. I'm excited.
I look at this and I'm wondering about the acid trip I haven't had yet, but I'm hoping to have eventually in my lifetime.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. Another thing is that it is available if you can't go to your local comic book store or you don't feel like it. You can get a downloadable copy. There'll be a link for that later if that's of interest to you people. And it's going to be a monthly release, and I'm super excited for it to keep going. The art is stellar. There's 2 stories actually in the first issue, and it's the nice mixture of funny with proper art and little jokes in the margins for if you feel like it. There's definitely also a reference or 2 eked into Ryan's own personal webcomic if you're cool enough to look for it.
I have no idea what this show is about. I've only really heard of it in the last week or so that I really remember fully. This looks hilarious. Why have I not watched this before? Because I'm going to have to start watching this. This definitely seems like it'll appeal to me more than that MLP crap. So I'm going to have to start watching that show.
Absolutely. So watch the show and then go pick up the comic. It's only $3.99, guys.
It's not bad. So moving along, we also have new releases. We got a lot of new releases. Last week was kind of short on new releases, so.
Yeah.
But this week in movies we have, this is coming in theaters, we have This Means War with Reese Witherspoon, which I'll give you the synopsis of. 2 top CIA operatives wage an epic battle against one another after they discover they're dating the same woman. So it's kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but with a love triangle rather than, well, yeah.
I actually did see the trailer for this movie. It looks kind of funny. It could be funny in an absolutely ridiculous, over-the-top way.
Captain Kirk is in it.
Captain Kirk is in it.
There you go. Chris Pine is in this movie. So that's pretty cool, actually. You know what? This actually looks rather interesting. It doesn't look like the usual Reese Witherspoon movie.
Yeah, probably because she's not a huge part of it. It's mostly these 2 dudes kicking the shit out of each other, if the trailer is to be believed in any way.
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
definitely going to be one of those.
Next up is Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, starring the one and only Nicolas Cage. You know this movie is going to be bad because his hair is fire, and that is how we gauge Nicolas Cage movies. The worse his hair is, the worse the movie will be.
That and he pees fire.
Yeah. I can't see this being any good, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping they'd learn from the first one, but apparently it was popular
And
enough.
it's gonna be in 3D. That's how you know it's a winner. Moving on.
Yeah. Moving on is Thin Ice, which, well, once again, we're not too sure really what it has, but this, for those people who don't really get this, Greg Kinnear is in a movie. He's not been in a movie for a long time, so good on him, because I totally thought he disappeared off the face of the planet. I couldn't name another movie that he was in, mind you, because, yeah, it's been that long. So basically, it's about an insurance agent who goes to Wisconsin, but he's also blackmailed by some very, very, very unstable man regarding antique violins that are rare. So there's money involved, and it's probably one of those kind of like firewall type movies.
The poster looks cool.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of smacks of, well, I don't even really know. More like Fargo.
Smacks of cool.
Yeah. You know what? Either way.
Yeah.
It looks like one that would, I don't know if I'll see that in the theater, but that'll definitely be a rental.
For sure.
It looks like it should be interesting enough. And then moving on to our Blu-ray and DVD new releases, this is one I'm excited for. I never did see it in the theater. I really wanted to, is The Rum Diary. So it's got Johnny Depp. It's basically him reprising his role as a Hunter S. Thompson character. I can't tell you which one. Either way, he's playing in a Hunter S. Thompson movie.
Well, there you
which
go.
isn't like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Okay.
It's not as psychedelic, but it is just as full of weird situations, which is supposed to be really, really cool. It actually looked pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's once again getting embroiled in, drugs, alcohol, adventure.
Well, he's not wearing any clothes on the poster, so...
No, it's kind of like, I think he goes down to Rio or...
Puerto Rico.
Oh, it was Puerto Rico. So he goes to Puerto Rico and doesn't really remember what happens along the way. He kind of gets drunk, and that's, it's the usual thing. Wakes up, to Becky's point, he's not wearing clothes in in his thing. He's in his place, but it's torn apart. It's one of those really neat Hunter S. Thompson Gonzo type films, but less like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So don't expect that, because there was only one of those.
You'll never get that movie again.
No, we never will.
The next one we have up is Take Shelter. It has Michael Shannon and Jessica Chastain in it. Apparently plagued by a series of apocalyptic visions, a young husband and father questions whether to shelter his family from a coming storm or from himself.
Huh.
That could be interesting, maybe. To be honest, I haven't heard of it at all, but it is out on Blu-ray, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it 92%. So that's
good,
something. That's
That's
pretty
it.
high.
That is pretty high.
That's almost as good as the Muppet movie. So
Still haven't seen that.
You should get on that.
I should. But moving on with games, there's a new SSX game, for those of you who are familiar with the SSX Tricky series. It's on PS3, Xbox 360, usual thing. I believe it's more snowboarding and, that sort of stuff. But apparently it's completely cracked out.
Yeah.
I've seen some neat little stunts in some of the trailers that people have been pulling on it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more physics involved, but also a lot of physical breakdown, because there's no way you could do that. But just the same, those games are always fun. Even if you're not a snowboarder or into sports games, or anything like skateboarding games, these were always kind of fun because it's just you get to fool around and see what happens.
Yeah. No, when like skateboarding games and stuff first started coming out, those were great. You just mash buttons, got points. Great.
And also, you probably, if you're like me, you play it because you want to see how badly you can wipe out and see how funny it would be.
It's true. And how accurate they are.
Yeah.
In terms
Sometimes
of
it's fun to pick
your
on that.
imminent death.
Yeah. Good God.
Yeah. So after that, we have UFC Undisputed 3, which is coming out for PS3 and the Xbox 360. Fighting game. Cool.
More like, I think it's going to be more like a WrestleMania game.
Probably. I played that for N64.
Oh, God. That's a long way away. People even remember what that is? Do kids these days know what an
Is that
N64
relevant?
is?
Does anyone remember?
Do people even know, Scott, do people know what WWE is? Or WWE, it's WWE now, but...
Yeah. It used to be WWF.
Yeah.
Back in the
I don't
day.
think people know what that is anymore.
I don't know.
God.
Worldwide Federation for Animals? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so it's another fighting game, which looks actually kind of interesting. The UFC games haven't been that crap like people expected them to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you go in expecting a UFC fight, and then you pick your character, and then your friend picks his character, and then you fight.
And then you fight. Apparently, this will mark the debut of Pride Mode, which enables players to fight for the first time in the Japanese MMA organization, which has no significance to me, but apparently is a cool thing.
Yeah, followers of it would know what that is. I know barely enough to even talk about it. Then there's also Mario and Sonic, the London 2012 Olympic Games.
For 3DS.
Boy. Sonic and Mario. Well, Mario not as much as Sonic. You gotta just go away.
But Sonic is like Zelda. If you like Sonic, you'll play the game.
No.
Even if it sucks.
I like Sonic, but I'm gonna be the crotchety old man and say that after the Sega, and I mean literally after Genesis, there was just no point. There was no point to play it, except for maybe on that handheld one. But
I haven't played it since the handheld one.
yeah, there's no point.
But I bet it'll make some money. With the children's.
Yes,
grandparents will buy it for their 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
Totally.
12-year-olds. Anyway, And then we also have Alan Wake.
which is being released for the PC.
Yeah, because it only came out on the consoles at first. This was a game that I never played because I don't have a console, but now it's on PC. I might pick it up because I heard really great things. Essentially, it's a Stephen King novel.
Yes.
But, I mean, there's a lot of reviewers who didn't give it very good reviews, but at the same time, you gotta play
But there
yourself.
is a lot of positive press around it if you just do a general consensus of people you know. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people who've liked it and a small number of people who haven't, so at least now you can play it on your computer if you want to.
Yeah, I think it'll be worth it. But anyway, that wraps it up for Off the Press this week. Thanks, Becky, for showing up.
No problem.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Insight for this week. Once again, if you missed the intro, if you skipped ahead of it, whatever, we're on Scotty's couch.
We're dignationing it this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kicking it off. This is actually really cool news.
Yeah.
Windows 8 on the ARM processor. It's going to be able to support desktop mode.
Yeah, so we've been hearing mixed things, and basically a lack of information about what Windows 8 will run on ARM, and that's all Microsoft said.
Yeah.
And we're following Windows 8 pretty closely. Even Quinn's intrigued by it. I know he is. Because it looks really good on tablets, especially ARM tablets. That's going to be really snappy, boot really fast.
It's pretty as hell.
It's going to look great. But some people have been going, well, okay, what happens? Because it's Windows 8 ARM edition, so it's not going to be able to run all the same apps.
Yeah.
As opposed to the x86 version. What's going to go on there? So what they've basically come out and said is they won't be emulating an x86 on an ARM architecture, which I think is a good decision.
It's a very smart
Because
decision.
you're going to get terrible performance.
Because, well, if you think about it, any kind of x86 emulation, for the most part, they're all crap.
Well, especially on ARM, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not super, super powerful, whereas x86 is usually performing in the 2+ gigahertz range with multiple cores these days.
Exactly.
So to get similar performance is not going to happen. So I think that's not I think it's a good decision. But they are going to actually have the desktop mode,
Which is kind of interesting.
which I don't quite get.
Yeah, I mean, most systems don't run on ARMs. There are, netbooks
Yeah, nettops.
and
quite a few
nettops that have the ARM processor. So it's kind of cool that they're going to do that. And I can see the desktop mode for that. But if you're on a tablet, honestly, I hated it on a tablet. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was screwing around with it on a friend's tablet that he installed it on. Having the desktop is just kind of unwieldy. It's kind of ungainly, really. But, that was the original release that they did there, their alpha release. So I'm sure it's gotten better, I hope.
Now, yes, there's desktop mode. No, we're not emulating apps. But on launch, there will be optimized versions for the desktop environment on an ARM processor of Office
Oh, cool.
and Internet Explorer.
That's actually pretty big.
So really that covers your basis of worrying about it, if I want a powerful ARM tablet and still want to use it, docked or something like that.
That means you don't have to use Quick Office. That's huge.
Windows 8 is going to make really good tablets. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for this. So we're going to be following it continuously because, as I said, we're pretty interested. The other thing is they announced when the public preview will come out.
Oh,
so
good.
they had a developer preview out, which I did try because, if you have an MSDN account of any type, you can get it.
Yeah.
Or you can just sign up to download it, I'm pretty sure.
And people put it out there anyway.
Yeah, so the public preview is on February 29th.
Really?
Yeah, so they promised to ship the public preview by the end of February, and they kept their word just. So they're having a small event, but basically that's going to have all the updates to the developer that have been going on and a few more things mixed into a new rev.
Stupid question. We are in a leap year then?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Because they could say it'd be on February 29th, and that could be
No,
however
yes.
many
This-
years
this
from
is
now.
a leap year. Remember that the 1st is after the 29th, not the 28th.
Yeah. So either way, this is really big news, and especially with the specs that they put out there, that they said if you're gonna make a tablet, it has to have X many buttons.
You know what? I don't want it on a desktop. I just want a Windows 8 tablet really
Yeah.
bad now.
Yeah.
So
basically.
that's going to be exciting.
gonna be huge.
Speaking of exciting news about tablets, if you have a tablet that's really old and doesn't do all that, well, it's not even that old, but
it's more the
couple
power.
gens old. So HP made this thing called the touchpad. You may have heard us talk about it way too much. We both have one.
Yep.
It's a clock for me right now.
I actually use mine for ebooks and other mobile shit when I don't.
However, when it was fire saled, a few people claimed that they got one shipped with Android on it.
which was really weird because HP was like, we don't know how that happened.
Yeah, what are you talking about? HP has admitted since then to actually doing some dev of Android on before electing to use WebOS, or maybe they're going to ship it with both.
They were going to try actually and do both because they wanted both options, because they kind of looked at WebOS and like, yeah, well, we optimized this one for WebOS, but at the same time, Android's huge.
Yeah.
Why don't we put the Android one out, see what goes faster? Because if Android kicks off, then we're going to go with that.
But of course, we know they shipped it without an Android version and then stopped making it altogether. So after hounding HP, HP has released the Android kernel they used on the touchpad to the public.
Yeah, which is basically, from what we're getting from the articles, Froyo in a primitive form.
Yeah.
But they're also doing this because, WebOS is now open sourced.
Yeah.
They want to stick to the open source thing especially, so they're saying, here's what we're using, continue to do whatever you want.
But what's going to happen now is it's going to be I don't want to say very easy, but much easier for the people who've been trying to get Android running on this, because they have, and they've got kind of almost working.
Yeah, the Cyanogen people have got it pretty going.
Yeah, weird things like multi-touch don't work.
Yeah.
Or, the sound doesn't work, but everything. Anyway.
The things you want it to work.
This will go a long way to having a fluent, not hacked feel to Android on the HP touchpad. And I think that will bring new life to the touchpad, because the thing that bothers me most about running on WebOS, I love WebOS, the app cat is terrible.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
They're still updating it technically, but who's going to actively develop for a
dead system
OS, essentially, right?
Like we're looking at, unfortunately, and it's such a powerful OS.
I like it. I like it a lot. But
to Scotty's point, it's no longer going to get devved, really. I mean, there's the open source out there. There's the communities that'll keep doing it.
There's no money to push it. There's money pushing Android. There's money pushing iOS. So if I could switch it to Android, I'd probably actually use it as a tablet. Yeah. So we'll definitely follow that. Sam really wants this. She's a big Android girl. So we'll definitely be keeping you up to date on HP's WebOS transition to Android.
Yeah.
TELUS.
This is huge.
This is quite exciting if you're a Canadian, which we are here. They've finally launched their LTE network. So Bell's up. Rogers has had the first LTE in the country.
So they had that last year or so?
Yeah, Ottawa was actually the test site where which is very weird because it's usually Toronto.
I was going to say Ottawa's
never the test site. Yeah. So TELUS has announced their LTE network. It's going live on the 10th, so that's tomorrow, day of recording. So if you're watching this, LTE is already up for you if you're a TELUS customer.
Yep.
14 cities.
That's actually really big because for the most part they do, if I remember, 5 cities at first.
Yeah.
They do some they do Toronto. They do basically Ottawa's left out of it usually. They usually do Toronto, Montreal, as they have here, Waterloo, that sort of thing. And then they kind of just leave it at that, see how it goes, and then start slowly rolling it out. The fact that they kind of went to almost every major city.
Well, and you know what? I think it's good, but I think they had to.
Yeah.
Because Rogers is already out and expanding. I think they're over 20 cities.
Yes.
Bell is out and expanding. So TELUS had to launch big because they delayed the launch.
Yeah.
Name major center: Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, GTA, Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec City, Halifax. Even Yellowknife gets LTE.
Yeah. That was kind of weird.
So I think that's a good launch. And of course, they're going to continue expanding it. No one's offering 4G phones. I think Rogers might have one.
Yes.
One or two. But look for those 4G data sticks.
Yeah, those are actually really crazy. We got to fool around with one.
Quite quick.
Anyone who had like the 3G ones, they were kind of like, yeah, it drops. It's not as... 4G, completely different. If you had to go mobile with that, do it.
It's a very different...
It's completely different
configuration of how mobile works.
Yeah.
But it's quite good from what I've heard. I haven't had the chance to try it because I'm not going to shell out for one.
No. But they're brilliant if you're a road warrior.
Yeah, heard good things.
Perfect.
And last up, a very exciting app launch. Again, Canadian content. The CRTC would be proud if they regulated us, which they don't. Dell's launched an app called Dell Voice.
Dell did this.
It's a Canadian-only service from Dell, which is strange. It's in partnership with Fongo, I'm sorry, who I've never heard of before.
Yeah,
I thought I had, and then I realized that it was actually not them at all.
Yeah, the name kind of sounds familiar, but then it to your point,
it was
really
Fring
isn't.
that I thought it sounded like, which is the iOS kind of video chat thing. Anyway, the new Dell Voice app is really exciting if you want free or cheap voice.
The app is free.
Yep.
The service
is free.
Free.
So when he says the service is free, you can get a free telephone number.
Yep.
In an area code of your choosing with limitations. You can't get it in all the area codes.
That makes sense.
But major cities, from what I understand. So if you live in Ottawa, you could get a Toronto number. So if you have lots of business dealings in Toronto, lots of friends or family in Toronto, but you live in Vancouver, then you can actually have your grandma call you local to your Toronto number.
Saving them money.
And it's free for you because you're using VoIP.
That's actually really useful.
Which is cool. So you're not restricted to that. Or if you want one in your hometown, you can do that as well. Free incoming from landlines, mobile, or other VoIP services, which is amazing.
That's
that
really
number.
amazing. The fact that they're doing other mobile or other VoIP services, that's big.
Yep. So that, because it's operating like a traditional actual VoIP service, as in telephony VoIP, right?
Yeah.
Not like Skype. This is more like a telephone replacement with really good apps. So right now there's an iOS app and a Android app.
Oh, good.
BlackBerry app's coming, so they're not leaving that out. You get free voicemail, free caller ID, free call waiting. Which
That's
is
brilliant.
Which is good. From what I hear, the app's very good. I downloaded it. I didn't have time to sign up because I'm actually going to use it as my home VoIP service, as my home phone. But it'll alert you to a call in the background with notifications. From what I understand, the voice quality. I want to test the voice quality before I go full bar on this.
Maybe we'll do a review of it next week.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. We'll play around with it a bit. Maybe we'll both get numbers, make some calls.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But it looks really promising because it's free. Vonage, which offers a very similar service, is $20 a month.
$20 a month. Rogers also has their VoIP service with
$35 a month.
$35. Bell even has one, I believe, as well.
Yeah, limited availability.
Yeah.
Because if they can get you on hardline, they will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool thing about this, there's also a soft phone app available on your PC.
Oh, cool.
Which is good. Not Mac, from what I understand.
It's coming, probably.
But I imagine I'm either wrong, and there is, or it's coming.
Yeah.
E911.
That's actually really important because
the thing is, it's against the law to operate a VoIP service with phone numbers.
Yeah.
Without that, so they have to have it. But it is good to know that they are aware they have it.
Yeah.
Type thing.
A lot of people don't know that they actually have a 911 service.
Yeah.
on their VoIP phones, which is kind of sad.
Now, how that works, if you don't know, you give them an address. Mm-hmm. So what happens is if you call 911 from your VoIP line, the address comes up on that 911 operator.
Yeah.
That's how that works. So whatever address you give them better be right.
Yeah.
And if you move, make sure you update it because otherwise the police are going to the wrong address.
I was going to say, if you're in a totally different city, you're just not helping anybody.
Yeah, so it looks excellent. If you want to make long distance calls within Canada, download this app because you don't even need to sign up for the phone number to make outgoing calls. 2 phone numbers.
That's actually really cool.
So it's not just VoIP to VoIP. If you want to call grandma in Saskatoon from, New Brunswick,
Yep.
Download the app for free, get a free account, call her for free.
That's actually that's crazy.
It looks really attractive, and there's extras which are not advertised anywhere, but if you go on the website, it's very clear. You can spend a one-time fee of $25 to port your existing number.
Oh, wow.
To them, which is reasonable.
That is reasonable.
You can spend, the fees aren't advertised, but I'm looking into it because I want to do this. They will ship you an ATA, which is an analog telephone adapter, so you can hook up your normal phone to it. So if you want to do like I do and have it as your free home line, you can do that. You can also get them to unlock your service, which means you can then go use your own VoIP adapters or soft phones. So if you have like a fancy VoIP set, you can go punch in the information to log on to Dell Voice. So it looks like an excellent service. I'll probably do a review of the app and the actual service in the next couple weeks because I am going to use this, as far as I'm concerned, as my home phone because why wouldn't I? It's free.
I was going to say, they're making this quite attractive. I hate to be the downer in the dark cloud. It seems almost too good to be true. But it is. And if you're Canadian and you have a mobile device and you want to use VoIP, jump on it.
I think how they're doing this is that they're operating only in Canada. And a lot of the other VoIP people also operate in other countries.
Yeah. And with this, that means that they have full control of it. And they could make it free. Because they don't have to license out to the other countries, to international. This is actually really, really huge.
I think it looks great. And where they make their money, if you're really concerned about that, is you pay to call international. Again, great rates. I haven't checked them yet, but I'm assuming they're at least competitive with Skype.
Yeah, they would have to be.
And if you're making international calls not on Skype, make your international calls on Skype. Don't use your landline or cell phone for that. It's insane.
Yeah, you're killing yourself.
So if you're looking for a really good VoIP app, check out Dell Voice. It's in the iOS market and the Android market right now.
Excellent.
So check that out. And now it's time for a fireplace meeting with Quinn Brown about some cameras in a mountain lodge somewhere in Vermont.
We're very jealous.
Hey everybody, Quinn here. I'm on vacation in Stowe right now, but there's been so much crazy camera news this week that I did have to try and make a segment for you. So this is my sort of impromptu in front of a fireplace with a leather chair behind the lens this week. So starting off, some news that I'm excited for is that Olympus has now announced their OMD EM5. Yes, that is a mouthful to say, but it's also looking like it's going to be a handful of camera as well. This new camera from Olympus is the first one they have with an integrated electronic viewfinder, so it's using a 1.4 million dot electronic viewfinder in a magnesium weather-sealed body. So it's the first time we're seeing sort of a professional caliber mirrorless camera being brought to market. It's using a brand new 16 megapixel sensor with supposedly considerably better low light capabilities as well as higher dynamic range. It's also featuring a new 5-axis image stabilization. So the image stabilization not only compensates for up and down, but also roll and pitch and yaw, which is pretty cool. So they're boasting apparently 5 stops of image stabilization with this. It has, like I said, it's a weather-sealed camera, so that means that it can be rained on and it's dust-proof and it's all that kind of stuff, which is good because, I mean, they are trying to market this as sort of a professional Micro Four Thirds camera. And to bring that a step further, they've also included the ability to purchase a 2-stage grip that adds, at first, a landscape grip, which gives you a little bit more hand, and then also a bottom grip, which allows you to have a second battery and a second shutter for portrait shooting, which is pretty cool. And again, that grip is also weather sealed. Now, you have to get the camera with a weather sealed lens for the package to be complete, but they do make their 12 to 50, and it will be kitted with that for approximately, I believe, $1,400 with that lens, or body only for $1,000, which is a really great price point for the camera as it stands right now. And also, Olympus announced some new lenses that are going to be coming later this year. The one I'm excited for is the 75mm f1.8. So this is going to be about 150mm equivalent 1.8, which is a great option if you're looking for something that's going to be for good portrait work or maybe some fast action sports indoors. So this is going to be nice. It looks like it's going to be the metal construction that the 12mm f2 is built around, so it might be on the more expensive side on account of that, but I still think it's going to be a really nice lens. They've also announced the 60mm macro, which is capable of doing a 1-to-1 macro and a few stages in between that. And that lens is also weather sealed like the 12 to 50, so you'll be able to use that with the new OMD camera in a wet, drainy environment if you want to, while still getting good photos. So right now Olympus is suggesting that the camera will be available at around April. It is boasting a new video mode as well, shooting in a MOV format H.264 as opposed to the AVC HD that the previous pen cameras had. So hopefully that's going to be a little better if people want to work on their computers or their iPad or anything like that. And this new image stabilization is supposed to basically reduce rolling shutter to almost a negligible amount and allow handheld shooting to be very, very smooth. So it looks like overall it could be a pretty interesting camera, and there are some new lenses coming from Olympus which look exciting as well. But also on the Micro Four Thirds front this week, it looks like Cosina, who makes Voigtlander lenses and very well known for their 25mm 0.95 lens from Micro Four Thirds, have decided to bring out a 17mm 0.95 lens. So this is going to be a 35mm equivalent on the Micro Four Thirds cameras, which is something that people have really wanted, to have something in that focal length that's fast. And people were saying it'd be great if we had an f2 or maybe an f1.8 or 1.4, but Voigtlander has come through and made another 0.95 lens, which should be available soon for approximately somewhere between $1,100 to $1,400. The price isn't set right now. But if you have a 25.95 and you're looking for something a bit wider, this is really great. If you were holding off on the 25 because you wanted something wider, this is going to be just as nice as the 25, but in a little bit of a wider field, so that's pretty cool as well. Some other big news this week, Nikon finally came out and replaced the D700 with the new D800. And the big news here is that it's 36 megapixels, which is ridiculous. It's 3 times the resolution the D700 had in a sensor that hasn't gotten any bigger. And if you ask me, I think this wasn't the right move for Nikon, but Nikon is going to sell a whole ton of them because they're Nikon. So on top of getting 36 megapixels in the new sensor, it also has a brand new video mode, much like the D4 had. So this is now shooting at 1080p with an uncompressed HDMI output. It's got mic input as well as headphone monitoring, adjustable mic levels, full manual control for video. So they're really touting this camera as the sort of multimedia camera where you're going to get good video and you're also going to get ridiculously high resolution stills. But with those ridiculous resolution stills also comes the problem of huge file sizes. You're going to be looking at about 75 megabytes per file if you shoot in RAW, which is going to stress out any but the newest computers, and you're also going to go through terabytes of hard drive space shooting with this camera. Some preliminary images that have shown up don't really suggest that it's all that much sharper than the D700 was, which is something that we're supposed to gain by this resolution. I mean, there's mathematics at work here. It's hard to have much smaller pixels while still retaining the ability for these pixels to be sharp and all this kind of stuff. I won't really get into it because everything's preliminary right now and there really hasn't been very many hands-on or actual real-world examples of this camera. But it's slated to be available March for around $3,000. There's also a second version of the D800, which is the D800E, which Nikon has removed the anti-aliasing filter in the camera. Now this filter is designed to help with things like moire and aliasing problems that you get from tight concentric lines on shirts and bricks and stuff like that. But the downside to having this filter that prevents that is that it also softens your images a little bit. So they're basically touting this D800E as a really good option for a studio shooter, someone who might be shooting right now with a Hasselblad, or for someone who's looking for a landscape camera where they're not typically dealing with people and portraits where that can be problematic. And because they've removed this, it's supposed to increase the sharpness of the image, and some of the results have shown that it's much sharper without that. So that's a pretty cool option. It's going to cost about $300 more to have that anti-aliasing filter removed, which is weird. Other than that, a lot of other stuff with the D800. Don't have a lot of time to go through it now, but hopefully we'll get a hands-on with it sometime in the near future. Canon also announced some new lenses this week. Canon announced an update to their 24-70 f2.8 lens, which is one of their pro lenses. Oddly enough, it didn't receive IS, which a lot of people were expecting they were going to get from the updated version of it, but it is boasting new optics, which are supposed to be sharper and better performing. Although the 24-70 has always been a very popular lens, so I'm not sure really how much there's to gain from that. Interestingly enough, though, they decided to update their 24mm f2.8 and their 28mm f2.8 primes to have IS. Now, both of those lenses really don't need image stabilization, but the 24-70 could benefit from it, so I think it's kind of odd that they decided to put the IS in the primes, but not in the 24-70. But, whatever. That's Canon's thing, I guess. The new 24-70 is going to be about $2,400, I believe, somewhere in that price point, which makes it almost $1,000 more than the current version. So it's going to be pretty expensive. But if you're looking for some Canon glass, that's going to be available pretty soon. And lastly, the Sigma SD1 that we talked about, that stupid $9,000 camera. Well, Sigma's realized that they haven't really sold any at $9,000, so now they've decided to rename it the SD1, the Dick Merrill version, the gentleman who invented the foveon sensor. And it's going to be available for $3,300 with probably a more realistic street price of about $2,300. No one's going to buy it still anyways. So that wraps it up for the stuff of this week. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more in-depth on some of this in the near future, but I wanted to make sure that you got a chance to hear from us. And hopefully you enjoy Scott and Sean's crazy at-home episode of Almost Friday show this week. We'll talk to you next week.
And that brings us to the end of our Dignation style on Scott's couch episode because, we're not in the studio this week. Quinn and Sam are back in town in the next couple days, so we will be back in studio next week. If you want to see us do more random In People's Houses episodes, you can tell us that by emailing us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
Or find us on the Twitters at @almost_Friday.
Or if you're a Facebook person because you're like, oh, Facebook's IPOing, we should get in on that, and you don't have an account for some reason, you should find us on Facebook. Search for Almost Friday Show. We've got a page. All our episodes are there. You can chat with us about the show if you really want.
honestly, we would really like to hear from people.
Yeah, so,
So-
you can check us on Facebook as well. And until next week, we should do more shows by the fireside and have Quinn do it in my apartment.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
We'd have to start a fire in your apartment, though.
that's not a good idea.
No.
No. Don't light fires in your apartment.